What if I told you that some of the most meaningful Christmas plants have been forgotten for centuries? I'm not talking about poinsettias or Christmas trees. I'm talking about the plants that sat on medieval windowsills during the 12 days of Christmas. The herbs that filled Victorian parlors with scent and symbolism. The greenery that grandmothers 3 generations before yours wove into wreaths while singing carols by candlelight. These plants held stories. They carried meaning. And somewhere between then and now, we stopped remembering their names. Hey there, garden family. Welcome back to Seniors Gardening. If you're returning, thank you for being here. You're the heart of this community. And if you're new, welcome to the warmth. Grab a cup of something hot, settle in, and let's step back in time together. It's the season of traditions, and I've been thinking a lot about what we've lost. Walk into any store in December, and you'll see the same 3 things: poinsettias, Christmas cacti, and maybe a Norfolk Island pine if you're lucky. But our ancestors, they decorated with 20, 30, sometimes 40 different plants. Each one had a purpose. Each one told a story. And the truth is, most people have no idea these plants even existed. So today, I'm bringing back 20 forgotten Christmas plants. Some of them you might recognize from old hymns or faded paintings. Others have been so deeply buried by time that even your great-grandmother might not remember them. But by the end of this video, you're going to know their names, their meanings, and maybe, just maybe, you'll want to bring one of them back into your own Christmas traditions. Let's begin. Number 1. Rosemary. Now, I know what you're thinking. Rosemary isn't forgotten. You probably have some in your kitchen right now. But what is forgotten is rosemary's role in Christmas. In medieval Europe, rosemary was called the herb of remembrance. And during the 12 days of Christmas, families would hang sprigs of it over doorways and tuck it into nativity scenes. It was believed that Mary laid the baby Jesus' clothes over a rosemary bush to dry, and the plant bloomed with tiny blue flowers in gratitude. Rosemary grows best in warm, sunny climates with well-drained soil, and its needle-like leaves release a sharp, pine-like scent when touched. In Old England, people burned rosemary branches like incense on Christmas Eve, filling their homes with fragrance and prayer. Rosemary wasn't just decoration, it was devotion in plant form. Number 2. Bay laurel. The ancient Romans crowned their emperors with bay laurel, but by the Middle Ages, it had become a Christmas plant. In Victorian England, bay leaves were woven into wreaths and garlands, symbolizing triumph and protection. Families believed that hanging bay laurel over the door would keep evil spirits away during the darkest nights of winter. Bay trees grow slowly and prefer mild climates, but they can be kept in pots and brought indoors during frost. The leaves are glossy, deep green, and wonderfully aromatic. Break one open and you'll smell something earthy and warm like ancient forests. Bay laurel was the green guardian of the household, standing watch while the family slept. Number 3. Butcher's broom. This one sounds humble, doesn't it? But butcher's broom was a Christmas staple in Old England. It's a low-growing evergreen shrub with stiff, spiky branches and bright red berries that appear in winter. Medieval butchers used the branches to sweep their cutting boards, hence the name. But by Christmas, those same branches were gathered and brought inside to decorate hearths and mantels. The red berries symbolized the blood of Christ, and the sharp leaves reminded people of the crown of thorns. Butcher's broom grows in shade and poor soil, asking for almost nothing and giving back beauty in the coldest months. It was the unsung hero of the Christmas greenery. Tough, reliable, and quietly faithful. Number 4, ivy. Not just any ivy, the dark, woody kind that climbed the stone walls of ancient churches and crept through cemeteries. Ivy was once paired with holly in Christmas songs and decorations, representing the balance between masculine and feminine, death and life, evergreen faithfulness, and eternal resurrection. In old carols, holly represented Christ and ivy represented Mary. Together, they adorn doorways, altars, and tables. Ivy is incredibly hardy, growing in almost any condition, clinging to stone and wood with tenacious roots. Its leaves are deep green and glossy, sometimes tinged with purple in the cold. Ivy was the plant that refused to let go, a reminder that even in the depths of winter, life holds on. And number 5, mistletoe. Yes, everyone knows about kissing under the mistletoe, but do you know why? The tradition comes from ancient Norse mythology, where mistletoe was sacred to Frigg, the goddess of love. By the Middle Ages, Christians had adopted it as a symbol of peace and reconciliation. Enemies who met under mistletoe were required to lay down their weapons and embrace. Mistletoe is a parasitic plant that grows on the branches of trees like oak and apple, drawing nutrients from its host. It has pale green leaves and waxy white berries that appear in winter. In Old England, mistletoe was never allowed inside churches because of its pagan roots, but it hung in every home. Mistletoe was the plant that made strangers into friends and turned conflict into peace. Magic that the world still needs.
Number 6, yew. Dark, ancient, and deeply symbolic. Yew trees live for thousands of years, and in medieval times they were planted in churchyards to represent eternal life. During Christmas, yew branches were brought inside and placed near nativity scenes as a reminder of Christ's victory over death. Yew has soft, flat needles that are deep green and slightly toxic. Everything about this tree was treated with reverence and caution. It grows slowly and tolerates shade, thriving in the cool, damp climates of Northern Europe. Old yew trees still stand in English churchyards today, their gnarled trunks hollow with age but still green at the crown. Yew was the elder of the forest, the tree that remembered centuries and whispered them back in the wind. Number 7, Laurestinus. This one's a bit of a mouthful, but it was beloved in Victorian Christmas traditions. Laurestinus is a winter flowering shrub with clusters of small white or pink blooms that appear from November through February. The Victorians adored it because it brought color to the garden when everything else was gray. They cut branches of it and brought them indoors to arrange in vases alongside holly and ivy. Laurestinus grows best in mild climates and prefers a bit of shade. The flowers have a faint, sweet scent, and the leaves are glossy and evergreen. In the dead of winter, Laurestinus was proof that beauty doesn't sleep. It just waits for the right moment to bloom. Number 8, hellebore. Also known as the Christmas rose, though it's not a rose at all. Hellebore blooms in the snow, sometimes pushing its white or pink flowers up through frozen ground in late December. According to legend, a young shepherd girl wept because she had no gift to bring the Christ child. An angel appeared and touched the ground where her tears fell, and hellebores bloomed in the snow. Medieval Christians planted hellebores near their doorsteps as a symbol of hope and humility. Hellebore grows in shade and prefers cool, moist soil. The flowers are delicate and cup-shaped, often nodding toward the ground as if in prayer. hellebore was the quiet miracle, the flower that bloomed when nothing else dared. Number 9, juniper. Before there were Christmas trees, there was juniper. In medieval Scandinavia and Germany, juniper branches were brought inside during the winter solstice and decorated with candles and berries. The wood was burned as incense, filling homes with a sharp, clean scent that was believed to purify the air and ward off illness. Juniper is a hardy, evergreen shrub with blue-green needles and small, dark berries that take 2 years to ripen. It grows in poor, rocky soil and loves full sun. The berries were used to flavor food and make medicinal teas. Juniper was the protector plant, standing guard against the harshness of winter with fire and fragrance.
Number 10, Christmas fern. Not a flowering plant, but a fern that stays green all winter long. In Appalachian and early American traditions, Christmas fern was gathered from the forest floor and used to line nativity scenes and decorate mantles. The fronds are shaped like little stockings, and each leaflet resembles a tiny Christmas boot. Christmas fern grows in shaded woodlands and prefers moist, rich soil. It's one of the few ferns that doesn't die back in winter, standing strong and green even under snow. Families would walk into the woods on Christmas Eve to gather it, bringing the forest's quiet strength into their homes. Christmas fern was the humble companion, never flashy, always faithful. If you're finding these forgotten Christmas treasures surprising, consider liking this video and drop a comment telling me which plant you'd most want to bring back. I read every single one, and I love hearing your stories. If you haven't subscribed yet, click that button so you don't miss the next journey into forgotten traditions.
Number 11, box or boxwood. In Victorian England, no Christmas table was complete without a boxwood centerpiece. The dense evergreen foliage was shaped into wreaths, topiaries, and garlands. Boxwood was also woven into kissing boughs, precursors to mistletoe decorations, hung in doorways and decorated with ribbons, candles, and apples. Boxwood grows slowly and tolerates pruning beautifully, making it perfect for shaping. It has small, glossy leaves and a distinct earthy scent when brushed against. In some regions, boxwood was blessed by priests on Palm Sunday and then saved to burn as protection during storms. Boxwood was the permanence plant, steady, shapeable, and always green. Number 12, sweet woodruff. This delicate woodland plant was used in medieval Christmas celebrations, particularly in Germany. Sweet woodruff has tiny white star-shaped flowers and whorls of slender green leaves. When dried, it releases a scent like fresh-cut hay and vanilla, a fragrance so beloved that it was tucked in linens, hung in closets, and scattered on church floors during Christmas Mass. Sweet woodruff grows in shade and spreads gently across the forest floor. It was also steeped in wine to make a festive holiday drink called May wine, although some families adapted the tradition for Christmas. Sweet woodruff was the scent of memory, soft, sweet, and impossible to forget.
Number 13, snowdrop. One of the first flowers to bloom after Christmas, often appearing in late January or early February. Snowdrops were called Candlemas bells because they bloomed around Candlemas, the feast day marking the presentation of Jesus at the temple. In Old England, it was tradition to bring snowdrops into the house on Candlemas to purify the home after the 12 days of Christmas. Snowdrops are small, white, bell-shaped flowers that emerge from bulbs planted in fall.
They grow in partial shade and prefer cool, moist soil. Legend says that when Adam and Eve were cast out of Eden into winter, an angel touched the falling snow and turned it into snowdrop flowers to give them hope. Snowdrops were the promise that winter would end, tiny, fragile, but unshakable in their faith. Number 14, winter savory. A hearty herb with a sharp, peppery flavor that was used in medieval Christmas feasts. Winter savory was planted near doorways and windows because it was believed to ward off evil spirits and protect the household. It has small, narrow leaves and tiny white or pink flowers that bloom in summer, but the leaves stay green and flavorful all winter long. Winter savory grows in poor, well-drained soil and loves full sun. Medieval cooks used it to season roasted meats and stews during Christmas feasts, and herbalists brewed it into teas for digestion and colds. Winter savory was the kitchen guardian, practical, protective, and always ready to serve. Number 15. Cyclamen. In Victorian times, cyclamen was called the poor man's orchid and was given as a Christmas gift to express deep affection and lasting friendship. Cyclamen has delicate, upswept petals in shades of pink, red, and white, and heart-shaped leaves marked with silver. It blooms in winter and prefers cool temperatures, making it perfect for drafty Victorian parlors. The flowers have a faint, sweet fragrance, and the plants were often placed near windows where candlelight could catch the petals. Cyclamen was the tender gift, a reminder that love blooms even in the coldest season. Number 16. Larch. Unlike most conifers, larch is deciduous. It loses its needles in winter, turning a brilliant gold in autumn before going bare. But in old Alpine and Scandinavian traditions, larch branches were still gathered at Christmas for their symbolic meaning. The larch represented resilience and transformation because it appeared to die each winter, only to come back green and alive in spring. Larch wood was also burned in Christmas fires because it burned hot and clean, filling homes with warmth. Larch grows in cold, mountainous regions and has soft, bright green needles in summer. It was the tree that taught letting go, that sometimes you must lose everything to be reborn. Number 17. Strawberry tree. Not a strawberry plant, but a small evergreen tree that produces round red fruits in late autumn and winter. The fruits are edible, but mealy and bland. They were more decorative than delicious. In Mediterranean regions, strawberry tree branches loaded with red fruits were brought inside during Christmas as symbols of abundance and generosity. The tree has dark green glossy leaves and clusters of white bell-shaped flowers that bloom in winter. It grows slowly and prefers mild climates. The bright red fruits against the dark green leaves look like nature's Christmas ornaments. The strawberry tree was the generous host, offering color and cheer even when the harvest was long past. Number 18. Alexandrian laurel. Also called poet's laurel or danae. This plant was used in ancient Roman winter festivals and carried into Christian Christmas traditions. It has glossy, dark green leaves that look almost like flattened stems, and in winter it produces bright red berries. Alexandrian laurel was woven into wreaths and garlands and placed on altars during Christmas services. It grows in shade and prefers warm climates, often found in Mediterranean gardens. The plant was named after Danae, a figure from Greek mythology, but by medieval times it had been adopted as a symbol of Christ's birth. Alexandrian laurel was the poet's muse, elegant, evergreen, and steeped in ancient stories. Number 19. Galingale. A medieval spice plant with roots that were dried, ground, and used to flavor Christmas wine and cakes. Galingale tastes like ginger and pepper combined with a sharp, warming bite. It was considered a luxury in medieval Europe and was only used during special feasts like Christmas. The plant has long, narrow leaves and grows in warm tropical climates, but the dried roots were traded across Europe. Medieval recipe books are full of galingale wine and galingale cakes served at Christmas banquets. Galingale was the taste of celebration, rare, precious, and reserved for the holiest of nights. Number 20. Paradise plant. And we end with one of the most mysterious and forgotten Christmas plants of all. The paradise plant, also called Daphne, was used in medieval nativity plays and church decorations. It has dark green leaves and clusters of intensely fragrant pink or white flowers that bloom in winter. The scent is so strong that a single sprig could fill an entire room. In some traditions, the paradise plant represented the Garden of Eden, and it was placed near nativity scenes to symbolize the redemption of humanity through Christ's birth. The paradise plant grows in cool climates and prefers partial shade. The flowers are small but powerful, and the scent lingers long after the blooms have faded.
So there you have it, 20 forgotten Christmas plants that once filled homes, churches, and hearts with meaning. These weren't just decorations, they were prayers. They were stories. They were the way our ancestors marked the sacred and brought the divine into the everyday. And here's what I want you to understand. When we forget these plants, we don't just lose greenery, we lose connection. We lose the feeling of walking into a forest on Christmas Eve to gather ferns. We lose the scent of rosemary burning like incense. We lose the quiet ritual of weaving ivy and holly together while the snow falls outside. But we can bring it back. Not all of it, maybe, but some of it. One plant, one tradition, one small act of remembering. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one forgotten Christmas plant from this list. Just one. Maybe it's hellebore blooming in the snow. Maybe it's a sprig of rosemary over your door. Maybe it's the scent of sweet woodruff tucked into a drawer. Bring it into your home this season. Learn its story. Let it mean something. If you loved learning about these forgotten Christmas plants, smash that like button. Drop a comment telling me which one surprised you most. And subscribe so we can keep rediscovering lost traditions together. Share this video with someone who loves history, plants, or the deeper meaning behind the holidays. And remember, keep growing with wonder, keep growing with reverence, and keep growing connected to the traditions that shaped us. I'll see you in the next one. Merry Christmas, garden family.